Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is MrHurriicane, and today we're going to talk more Madden 19 as I wanted to get caught up on the news we've gotten over the past week and a half or so. We've gotten the big stuff out of the way with the new features in franchise, such as the custom draft classes, the player archetypes, and the scheme system. We've also talked about some gameplay and Ultimate Team related stuff, but today's video is going to be talking about presentation and graphics. So not the most important aspects of the game, but aspects that I look at when it comes to making YouTube content and trying to present my series in interesting and fun ways. So we're going to begin first with the article that was actually from the 22nd of June, and this is the presentation deep dive. I care a lot about presentation because I take a lot of what the game gives me into my episodes. So the first section talks about stadium exteriors and points of interest. They have a multi-year project going expanding stadium exteriors, and they have updates to the homes of the Bills, Bears, Buccaneers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Falcons, Patriots, and Titans. They've done this to include things such as the iconic statues and structures you'll see on the way to entry gates, like the 73,000-pound Falcons statue outside of the new Falcons Stadium. That stuff enhances what we see pre-game, and then for 3D broadcast graphics, this is more so what I'm interested in. They've updated their graphic elements here for the EA Sports logo, the NFL shield, and whatnot. A cool thing, though, they have in here is that they have specific team logos and helmet visuals for all 32 teams and 50+ relocation teams. So it seems there are a lot more options for relocation this year, and hopefully that means we have a lot more jerseys perhaps for those teams. The team logos are utilized for day games and relocation teams, and the team helmet assets are shown during prime time and postseason games to make those types of broadcasts feel different. And they have a couple examples of what that looks like. With this being real-time content, we'll be able to modify the look with lighting or other visual effects for years to come. It also opens the door for more complex visuals in the future, as we can be more dynamic with the content that is shown instead of having to rely on video content that is static and requires more assets to create variety. So this seems like something that has to do with what Frostbite Engine allows them to do with dynamic lighting and handling all those visual things that we started seeing implemented last year with Madden 18. Pre-game and halftime flows, we have an image here showing where this game is taking place in Arizona. And in addition to these broadcast graphics, they're going to be updating the pregame and halftime flows to take advantage of those real-time visuals to provide fresh content in Madden 19. They've created a pregame flow to get ready for the game with quick cuts of 3D visuals paired with high-energy music, as the studio commentator sets the stage before sending you to the stadium come game time. Brandon Godden and Charles Davis will talk through the in-stadium and pre-game experience. Here are some more examples of just overlays we have showing off some stats, and I hope these are shown a lot more during the game. As we can see in this top one, this is shown with 11 seconds to go in the half, so it's not just halftime. I hope it happens periodically, especially for changes in possession. And then we get a screen for games around the league, so a nice view of that. There is an updated halftime show that takes you around a 3D map as you check in on other games in progress, finished games, or upcoming games in your current week. They'll zoom from city to city, providing stats and scores, keeping you informed of important games as they relate to your team. Depending on when your game is scheduled, they will show you final scores and stats or talk about what is in store for this week's action via the league schedule banner. Should you participate in a non-franchise game, they've created an abridged flow to get you quickly back to the action. So it seems a bit like the studio update feature that was in NCAA 14, but it's for halftime. I like to see that implemented just after a score, like how it's implemented in NCAA, being able to just quickly see how a certain game is going, one that is relevant to you. Replay camera views. They've added 2 additional camera types to the replay presentation, the orbital and overhead view. The orbital camera is an action shot where they ramp down the replay feed and rotate the camera 360 degrees around the action. It allows them to showcase player authenticity and animations like what you see in Hollywood action films. The overhead camera shoots directly down the goal line to show when a player has broken the plane for a touchdown. It's a unique perspective as you get to see the holes in the blocking in a more defined way. They've also added post-play replays for head-to-head games. Now when you score a touchdown, sack the quarterback, or make a game-winning play, you'll be able to make your opponent relive that moment. Commentary callback stories. As we continue to improve the believability of our commentary team, we've added the concept of calling back on a previously said line or topic during the game. The goal of this feature is to allow our commentary to carry a storyline throughout the game, drive, or moment. This gives the impression that our commentary team knows what they've said in the past and are following along with the developments of the stories you've triggered during the game. Here is an example. It's 3rd and long and the offense is backed up against their own end zone. Charles mentions that he would try to get some room for the punter by running the ball or possibly catching the defense off guard with a screen. Based on your call and the results of the next play, let's say it was an incomplete pass, Brandon will reference what Charles said before about not wanting to be compressed in your end zone. Charles will respond, reiterating that passing backed up is a gamble, and now your punter will have to get the punt away out the back of his own end zone with the defense able to put more pressure on him, which is risky. Another instance could be Charles talking about how an opposing running back was a 1,000-yard rusher last season, and keeping him under 100 yards this game will be paramount in giving you the best chance for victory. As the game progresses, he and Brandon will reference how you are or aren't keeping your opponent away from that 100-yard threshold and how it's impacting likely outcome for this contest. That's a cool concept and that's a good way to implement it. I can't really say where I think the commentary is right now in Madden because I don't play with commentary on, but I think that these improvements here and the fact that they do in-season updates are really cool. And eventually, if this team sticks together for a long time, they should have a lot at their disposal to make the broadcast experience more authentic. But this whole thing, I think, misses some of the point of presentation, and that's simply just to keep you informed of what is happening throughout a game and to give you updates that are relevant. So I think when you watch a regular broadcast on TV, you're always seeing updates for maybe a certain receiver's catches in yards, or a player's completion percentage, or you can have team comparisons where it shows a team running 49 plays to the other team's 37. It shows time of possession. I think those are the things that need to be added to the game more so. These are kind of flashy additions where I'd prefer some additions that focus more on the context of a game, and they do that with the commentary, but I think that the presentation should do that more so. Occasionally, I'll begin a drive, and it'll show, like, my running back who's having a good day's stats, and I'm like, yes, give me more of that. Or let's switch it up when we're coming to the line out of the huddle. Let's show my wide receiver lining up with his numbers, or a tight end, or someone who's having a good game. More updates, more stats. That's what I would like. And I really hope that in Madden 19 we don't see so many camera cuts to the coach. I don't need to see him more than like once or twice a drive. Show me players interacting on the field. I'd also like to see a lot less replays of the zoomed out camera where you really can't see what's happening anyway. So that was the presentation deep dive, and now a very short article here on graphics. And we all know that that's a major emphasis in these EA games, whether it's Battlefield or Madden, especially when the Frostbite engine is involved, which it is more and more every year. This is the second game now for Madden that is in the Frostbite engine. So this short article talks a little bit about what they did this year with graphics in Madden 19. This year they focused a lot of their time and vision in raising the overall quality of the players to make them look as real as possible. They dialed in on skin tones, worked on likeness, and added more scans to start toward that goal. I do think they've done a good job getting a lot of scans, even of players who aren't just the big names. They're focusing a lot on skin detail, detail around the eyes, and player sweat. They've also added new player models to Madden 19 to better represent the players currently on the field. This seems a little bit off topic, but it's in this article. With these changes, they've also added some Elite and Legend teams, each with custom uniforms, as well as new uniforms that they'll be wearing this year. So they have the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Chicago Bears, 49ers, Dolphins, and Steelers. They've done an apparel update to include more face masks, gloves, and cleats, and they've also tweaked the in-game lighting this year. So those are the two articles. Not really a lot of hard-hitting info in here. We've pretty much gotten all the information out of the way. There's actually a pretty good amount of actual Madden 19 gameplay now on YouTube, so you can watch a lot of that. Maybe I'll give some thoughts on things that I have seen as release approaches. And I'm hoping that while there's an emphasis obviously on how this game looks and how it's presented, I hope that the gameplay is much better so that all these improvements can show off a much better looking game in terms of gameplay, not just visuals. At this point, we are right around a month until the game is going to be available. I'm sure on EA Access it's going to be pretty early in August, as the game has had a pushed up release date this year. We're seeing a lot of stuff in that fall window move up, not just sports games, even the big shooters now. October is kind of looking like the new November. So it won't be long until I start some new stuff on Madden 19. I am very much looking forward to it and hoping for a good year of improvements. It looks like here in the month of July we're going to get news on ratings, and perhaps I'll talk about some of that, especially because there are some new ratings in the game, and it'll be interesting to see how those are handled with some of the best players that are in Madden. So thank you all for watching, everybody. Please leave your feedback down below in the comments section. Let me know what about Madden 19 you are most looking forward to seeing and or experiencing when the game comes out. I never made a video about this, but there is going to be a long shot 2 in Madden 19, so if you enjoyed the story mode, there's going to be the continuation of that. And I think that we've covered just about everything there is to cover at this point. So thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, and I will see you again with more content soon. Have a great day, everybody.